It's cold again. I'm freezing. You saw me in the last video servicing this seat post, the reverb. Now it's turned to the fork and this thing is filthy. Check that out. That thing's awful. Now we're gonna take care of that, and we're also gonna explain some technical details of the damper, and yeah, follow along for that. We're also gonna do a headset service while we're at it. Oh God! Ah. This fork is a disaster. Guys, don't let your fork do this. I parapolvere dove sono? My mates forgot the new dust seals for the fork. Went and grab it. Found them. And the new dust seals. The set screw is stuck. No, così prende fuoco il legno. First step is to remove the foot nuts. We're going to insert the stud removers. Good smack. Fork is gonna drain all the oil, so get a catch pan. Yeah, it's nasty. Oh my God, black. This fork is well past due its service time. When you're at this point, you just want to give a really good wipe. Remove the dust seal. An open end wrench, 19 mil, works totally fine. So you just pry from the inside. Help! Without doing that, there's one, and the foam ring with a foam ring. There. So now it's just boring, a lot of cleaning, really boring, so we'll just skip this part. Once we have our lowers fully cleaned, deeply cleaned inside especially, I'm just gonna pour oil in a container, and we're going to dip the new foam rings. Let it soak. I know this is like not by rules and by all the guides and whatever. I like to put my foam rings first and then my dust seals. That's what I've been doing for 10 plus years that I've been servicing forks, and I never had an issue. Some people might say the opposite, but honestly, this is my level of concern. So then we'll take our seal driver, and that is gonna guide our new seal into its location. This fork seal driver actually bottoms out on the fork lower itself, so there's no need to worry about driving the seal too far into the lower, which then might cause the foam rings to pinch and then destroy itself. There you go, couple smack, just like that. Easy done. All right, once we're done, we'll just take our dust seal grease, just coat them very well inside, and ready to go back on the fork. Remove the cap. It did happen to me that I forgot to release all the air pressure from the air spring. I went ahead and removed the snap ring that sits underneath the stanchion. I think it went Mach 5 inside the shop and actually smacked into a drawer and dented it. That was actually funny. Luckily it wasn't onto my face. He's got 90 PSI in his fork. Once you have all the pressure out, I'm just gonna remove the snap ring holding the bottom cap of the air shaft in place. Gonna be the surprise. Oh yeah, nice, nasty. It's not pro, but it works. As long as you use a Knipex, it works totally fine. Yeah, it's clean. Air spring is a really easy service. Coat lightly the seal. With our freshly coated piston, I just like to dump just a couple drops of float fluid, not much. Sink the piston in, wait until it equalizes, send the head seal in, and then put the snap ring back in, and also everything will click into place, just like that. Once we're done with the air spring, we'll just switch to the damper part. This is a Fox 34 grip, so I'll just use a simple damper, regular compression and rebound setups. Nothing extremely fancy, but it works really well. This thing was loose. Was loose as. Honestly, it doesn't even surprise me. Knowing the guy that uses this bike, this is the whole damper tube. So the damper is the most important part of the fork. So this will control your rebound speed, your compression speed. Higher end versions will also control dual compression and dual rebound. So high and low speed compression and high and low speed rebound. Some others will do a lockout function as well as a low speed compression function. There's so many variables, many different brands, different types of cartridges and dampers. I have just drawn at this whiteboard really rough schematic on how a damper works. Pardon my bad drawing, but bear with me. We have our damper tube, our piston here, our damper shaft, and the shim stacks. There's a nut, clamping together all the shims, piston, and the other shims. In this case, we have a piston that will control rebound and compression as well. This is called static damping. So, for example, we have our damper tube filled with oil. As the pistons travels up, the oil will go from this section down onto the piston. The piston will have some tuned holes in it, and those holes are plugged by the shims. The shims will flex out with the force of the oil. The amount of flex and how they flex, they dictate the amount of speed that the piston will travel up or down in the case of a rebound. So in this case, piston is traveling up under compression, oil is flowing down inside the holes and will come out from this side and down onto the negative side of the piston. Same will apply for rebound. As the piston will travel out, right? So will travel down, the oil will flow in the opposite direction. Will flow out of this, in, out, in. And those holes are one way only. One way will be plugged for compression, and on the opposite side will be plugged for rebound. That's how a damper works. But we're just gonna stop here for now. This is just some of the basics. Back onto our damper. The vice jaws that I have are specifically made for Fox grip dampers. In this case, the piston shaft only has the rebound side of things, and the compression side of things will be done by Disassembly with a spring-loaded internal floating piston. You saw me on the last video replacing the internal floating piston on the RockShox Reverb on the seat post of this bike. The IFP, internal floating piston, will do the same exact thing. Yeah, oil is filthy, but on the RockShox Reverb, the IFP is air loaded, while here is spring loaded. There's no air on this side holding the IFP down. This will take the oil displaced by the piston as the damper travels up, travels under compression. Dump in the oil. Now we can remove, okay. Loctite is a little bit too strong on this, and we just have to heat up the Loctite so it loosens itself, and then we're gonna be able to remove the seal head. There we go. And there we go. And that's the rebound piston. It is the morning after now. My camera battery died last night, so unfortunately we had to quit. It was actually pretty late at night, so it left me at removing the piston from the damper tube. Once we inspected that everything is all right, we're just gonna go ahead and reinstall the whole damper together, fill it with new fluid, and bleed it. Now, we filled the damper around. The grip damper is super easy to service, and then once you filled a little bit of oil, you start cycling the piston to remove any air bubbles from the bottom, and you fill it up to the whole line. Grab your compression assembly, and that's the moment where you want to grab a nice amount of rag, plug the overfill hole. A lot of oil is gonna shoot out from that. And there we go. Push some oil out of the damper because the damper will be overfilled. Once this step is done, tighten it, and we're gonna be putting the lowers back in. Make sure it functions as it should. It's somewhat of a crucial part because you don't want to pinch the foam rings or the dust seals. So carefully with your finger, just drive the seals into the stanchions. Make sure that glides smoothly. Oh, it's a little stiff because it's really cold in here, so all the grease and oils is like honey. It doesn't glide very well. Flip the fork upside down to fill the oil into the lower legs. So we're gonna need to fill thicker oil onto the air spring side, and then the same oil that we used for the damper onto the damper side, obviously. This is the air spring side, and that's the damper side. We have the rebound knob sticking out. Don't forget to put new crush washers. They're usually included in the kit, in your dust seal kit. These are very low torque. Usually it's like 4 or 5 Newton meters of clamping torque. That hurts. Oh. Put the fork upside down. Well, I mean the right side up. Currently I'm prepping the fork to send it back onto the bike. Just lightly grease the headset crown race. So let's grab this thing. This poor bike bearings already cleaned and greased, and send the fork back in. And my mate Diego just showed up.
Hey guys, stay here.
Yeah, we've been hanging here all night. And then put the stem back in and clamp everything down. Put the hose guide back in.
Ma quel bastardo di Jacopo che non si pulisce le scarpe, brutto pezzo di merda. Sei te che sporchi tutte le scale, brutto coglione.
Go figure. Free to float like that. Install the wheel. Recenter the caliper once you install the wheel, and dishes are done. We're out of here. Okay, my mate Diego likes it, so must be good. Anyway, bike is all done, it's all back together. I hope my mate, again, he's gonna enjoy this. Next time he's gonna ride it. Like and subscribe for more videos like this. See you in the next video.